Good morning, beautiful wives. Welcome back to another Respect Dare from the Respect Dare 40 days of deeper connection with God and your husband. All right, so today we are on Dare 27, which is called 3:08 a.m. But before we go into, I just wanted to say something real quick. I created a WhatsApp group. Um, for the wives set ablaze, I'm calling it. And So if you would like to join, you don't have to, but if you would like to join, the group is open. Just you can join, you can be a part of it, you can share feedback there, and we can have more conversations there. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna leave the link on the description of the video, and I'll keep it open for anyone who would like to join. All right, so going back to our dare. So today is dare 27, and it's called 3:08 a.m. The verse is from Galatians 6:2. Carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. So I love I love this challenge today, and it's particularly special to me because well, let's go into the challenge first. So okay, so this lady says that her alarm, not her alarm, she woke up and she looked at the clock, and it was 3:08 a.m. And she heard noises in the closet, and she realized her husband was getting dressed to go to work. And she's like, "What are you doing? Like, it's 3 in the morning." And he's like, "Oh no, I'm going into work because there is just so much to do, and this and that." And she's like, "No, no, 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 no. It's 3 in the morning. Come down, come back to bed. I'm gonna pray for you." And he's like, "Well, I'm not gonna sleep anyways." And she's like, "It doesn't matter. I'm just gonna pray for you." So she did, and they kept on doing that for several nights until the situation at his job began to shift, you know. And a little while um, after that, she they say that he had a friend who had lost his job, and the situation was bad, and the wife was complaining and criticizing him, and saying how much of a loser he is and whatnot, right? And then it says here that he felt so bad for the guy, and he told his wife, I wasn't sure I was going to make it through last year. I feel so bad for Nick, his friend. He probably feels awful about the whole situation, especially because his wife is not supporting and encouraging of him at all. I am so thankful for you. So thank you for being there for me when I needed you. I love that. I love that. And it says, bottom line, carry your husband's burden and walk alongside him during troubles, praying your way through it together. Two bounds together with God are inseparable. I wanted to mention this because two bound together in God are inseparable, and they're better than one, right? But when two are together and they're not bound by the love of Christ, let me tell you, it is worse than one. It's more weak than one alone. So I think that we have to make sure um, that we understand, how important to our husbands our encouragement is. And in this particular situation, the husband had lost the job, and I don't know that we realize as women what an impact that has for men, and I think that for us it's like, yeah, sure, we lost the job, and whatever, we need to find another one, and it's it's a problem that we go through in life, right? And that's it. But I think that for men, it's so much deeper than that, because it makes them question almost their character. It makes them question their ability to provide. It makes them question who God created them to be, which is the provider. So it's a very serious deal for them, even though not all of them express it the same way or know how to say it in the same way. You know, um, it is not just one simple problem they go through in life. It's a big deal, you know? And so, what they need from us in moments like that, it's our encouragement, you know, and it's our love, and it's our affirmation that we believe in them, and that, you know, yes, sure, you were made to provide, and I so appreciate how great of a provider you are. However, this isn't all you are. You know, there is more to you than this, and I want you to understand, you know, and I want to show you, and I want to love you through these issues, you know. So I think that that's so important. Um, and I don't know if I had mentioned it to you guys or not, but my husband recently got promoted to self-employed. The position he was in corporate America was terminated in the beginning of September, you know. And when that happened, I saw, you know, in the spirit what God was doing, and I saw that He was promoting him. You know, it wasn't a termination; it was a promotion. You know, because I was able to see everything that God wanted to do through his life and in his life through that situation, you know. And I began to laugh. I bursted out loud laughing, and I just began to speak life onto him. And it wasn't something that I planned or thought of. The Holy Spirit filled me in that moment, and I began speaking life onto him, you know, and all the things that I was seeing God doing in his life and for him, you know, and everything. And less than a month later, you know, he had a company opened to be able to do what he did for corporate, but for himself, you know, which had been the desire of his heart for a very long time, you know. Um, but it's difficult, right? Because you're just starting, so the cash flow is not there yet, you know, and the income isn't coming as if you had a salary, you know. So there are some days that he's struggling, you know. He's struggling with those thoughts. He's struggling on how he's gonna be able to provide, and he's struggling with it, you know. And today was one of those days that he came into our room, you know, in the morning after I went downstairs and we prayed together. He came back and he's like, I'm so discouraged today, you know. And he's feeling all these feelings um, of, are we gonna make it, you know? And we just have to be there to be able to encourage them, you know, and to be able to speak life onto them, you know. And a lot of times um, in our marriage group that we co-lead with another couple, he expresses how much he appreciates my encouragement and me being there for him, you know. So I think that that's something we need to take seriously, you know, like this woman did, right? And just praying for them and speaking life onto them, you know. Anyways, then she goes on with the questions, and she asks, um, you know, about the times that I'm sorry. Think of the last time you were in real trouble. Did you and your husband, did you go to your husband first or at all? You know, and I was reflecting on the questions and going through the questions, and I can say that the last time I had, you know, I felt emotionally down and I went through trouble, right? I did go to my husband first, you know, because I have um, reset the default in my heart and put him in the right place in my heart, that he is the human I want to go to, I want to cry to, I want to be with, when there is something misaligned in me, you know. But I'll tell you that unfortunately it hasn't always been that way, you know. And it talks about the three major crises you've had, right? And I can tell you that in two of those three, that wasn't the case, and it was like we weren't there for each other to support each other emotionally, and I felt that he was unable to do that for me, and it's not that I thought he was a bad guy, none of those things, but I've mentioned to you guys before, he wasn't expressly there for me during those emotional struggles, and I was so happy and satisfied, and he brought joy to my heart to be able to reflect on these questions and know that that's no longer the case, that we are there for each other, and that in the struggles that he's going through, currently, I'm able to be there for him wholeheartedly, fully emotionally available, which is something I wasn't before, and the same is true the other way around. So, anyways, I thought that was such a beautiful reflection, because when I've done this in the past, my answers were different, so that was a good thing. And then it talks about making a list of all the wrongs your husband's committed against you and all the wrongs that you've committed against him, and then showing your list to him in apology and and burning his list, right? In forgiveness, and my husband and I, in February, when we went through, really our major crisis, the greatest crisis we've had in our marriage, and in the beginning of this year, in February, when we were just coming out of that, we renewed our vows, and at that time, I didn't even remember this there, but at that time, we did exactly that. We did the list of wrongdoings, and I've confessed it to him, and I asked for forgiveness. He did the same to me, and we burned those lists, in like symbolizing the fact that those things are no longer to be remembered. Those things are no longer to be talked about. Those things are taken care of by the blood of Jesus, and it was so powerful to us because we were able to break soul ties with the things and the people that were part of those lists, that didn't contribute in a positive way to our marriage, because our relationship with our husband, it's the number one relationship for us to steward after our relationship with Jesus, So I thought that it was a very powerful time for us, and it was a beautiful time for us. We were able to rewrite our vows to each other, and what we were committing to, because it was a brand new marriage from that point forward, So with that being said, we are in honeymoon, and it's just beautiful. And then tell your husbands that you want to go on record as desiring to stand by him always, and that's such a beautiful thing for us to be able to do for them, and the more we do that for them, believe me, the more they're gonna be able to do that for us, so anyways, that was our respect there today. Thank you for being here. Again, I'm gonna leave the WhatsApp group link on the description, so if you feel you would like to join, please go ahead, and I'll see you there, and I'll see you here tomorrow for another day. I love you. Have a wonderful day.